Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you decide to watch this. This is the video results for the meeting Wednesday, the 21st of September 2022, brought to you by Load Shedding, Stage 5, 6, 8, whatever we are now. Eskom! Yay! We're going to start with the Secret Sponsor Challenge, and if we have a look here, let's see how we're doing. End of October. It's October? No, this is August. Oh wait, August. Okay, so let's have a look. Technical challenge. We head there, 2404. So yay! Money for Christmas snacks. Wasteful challenge. We're ahead there. More money for Christmas snacks. Monthly. Yeah, we're doing well there. Salons, we're falling a little bit behind. But yeah, we're doing really well. So keep those entries coming in. So just to have a look at our outings coming up and the calendar. This Saturday coming, the committee is going to be choosing the images for our Wasteful Challenge, which is now ended, 20 Junior, 20 Senior. In October, deadline day, the 10th, of course. Technical Challenge, the Power of Reds, which I'll be going through now. Outing, we have our outing at PMB Bock Gardens on Saturday the 15th, obviously weather dependent. Please come along, we're going to have some fun. We've got mentors, the flowers are up, it's looking really beautiful there. The 19th is our regular meeting, and on the 20th is our big Zoom meeting, the Wasteful Challenge results meeting with Wasteful Camera Club. They will be running the Zoom. I have to do my thing with all the results. And then Wasteful will be announcing the subject for 2023 because it's their turn. Okay, so the Power of Reds. Unfortunately, Connell couldn't send through his power presentation because where he lives, all the wires have been stolen from the substation. Welcome to our world. So Connell, I'm sorry all your hard work is not going to be shown, but here we go. The Power of Reds. The family of reds are welcome. Orange, pink, coral, dark red. Bear in mind the word power. Bold, striking, to stand out. Only images taken from the 1st of June are eligible, please. If there's anything before then, I'm going to propose to the committee that we actually take points away from you. All genres are welcome. Full color or mono with color, and limited editing. Limited editing is dodging, burning, cropping, contrast work allowed, no removing or adding of pixels, no HDR or stacking. Okay, this is your October challenge, so the 10th of October, and of course it forms part of the Mamba challenge, which is our second year running Marisburg Amber Camera Club challenge. Okay, so some oranges there, bold, striking, dynamic. They still got to be good photos. It's still got to be in focus. You still got to look at composition. Okay. It's a lovely one. Okay. Sorry, I know my arrow's now on the way. Sorry. Some reds, lots of reds here. But of course, as I said, there we go. So that's it. Good luck. This is our last challenge. And it's also our last entries for the year. The 10th of October is the last time that you submit photos. So let's do this. So we're going on to results now. The technical challenge. The judge was Paul. Paul, thank you very much. Oh, let me just get rid of this. Enter. There we go. I'll get rid of my arrow. Thank you, Paul Nordia. Okay, 1 star, 9 silver. A good attempt at getting side lighting, but overall there's too much dark area for a good portrait. The bright area above her head is distracting, as are the whites on her head covering. The image is very noisy, and cropping will get rid of a lot of the noisy areas, which would improve your image. You did capture some of the subject's emotion. Well done on that. Sorry, the title was Pondering, 9 silver. Ooh, I've forgotten how to do this video thing. Okay, the next one. 1 star, relaxing, 6 bronze. Unfortunately, the image is OOF, which is out of focus. No EXIF data is present, so I'm unsure if it is a focusing error or a motion blur from too slow a shutter speed. Either way, a tripod would help. Increasing your ISO would allow faster shutter speed with a possible introduction of some noise, but which can be dealt with during post-processing. If you're not sure how to do this, ask a more experienced member. The angle of the light is too low, which causes the eye to be in shadow. Limb and hand positioning in portraiture is an art, and I suggest you read up on it so to be able to direct your subject as to what to do with them. This subject has a lot of potential, and with a few more tries you could end up with a great image. Still on 1 star, Sam, 12 gold, Jan Lens. You captured the demeanor of this man really well. Be careful of having your light too low, as the eye can be placed in shadow. However, you have done well. Where am I now? A Fairy Princess, 9 silver. I've just realized that the background is white. Sorry, that's my Earth and View program, and I will go and change it to black for the monthly. So, A Fairy Princess, 9 silver. What a cutie. She obviously loves her outfit as that emotion comes through. Well done on capturing that. Unfortunately, too much blank space has been left on the left-hand side, which needs to be cropped out. It can be difficult with a child as they are not models, but try directing the placement of the hands as well as direction of gaze. Having her looking a little higher rather than down would improve your image. Closed up, DQ, already judged elsewhere. We're now on to 3 star, by the way. Sorry. I'm really forgotten this. 3 star, Dino, 9 silver. A well-focused image of this great subject. Use flat lighting with caution as it hides the features and wrinkles that could be brought out with less direct light. It appears only one light was used, and if so, placing it off to the side and using a reflector, even a white sheet, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, would help to provide a full light. This is quite easy to do with a single flash, some diffuser material and the said sheet. Try it at home, you may be surprised at the effects you can get. 3 star, Flowers and Plasters, 13 merit, Corneille Appel. A lovely conceptual portrait that is very well lit. Placement of your subject in the frame as well as focus are top notch. Good Friends, 8 silver. This comes across as a fun shot rather than a portrait. Cropping to head and shoulders would be preferable. The lighting is flat, giving no shadows. Have a look at clamshell or butterfly lighting to give a more flattering look to your subjects. This can also be done without expensive studio lights. Still on 3 star, Greg, 9 silver. Your subject's position of gaze and the position of the light is perfect, but the use of light has let you down. Your subject's right-hand side is too well lit and could be toned down. By toning down the luminance on the face, that is by using levels, you can bring out a lot more about your subject. Selective darkening of the shirt and upper chest level would stop the eye from going there. Cropping of the image vertically so the subject's right eye is almost on the midline improves the look dramatically, with some cropping inferiorly too. I don't know what that means. I love it, 7 bronze. An environmental type portrait of a little girl having great fun at the beach. Adjustment of contrast levels would lift this image. Be careful not to photograph from too high a vantage point. Get down to the child's level and the result would be markedly better. Well done on being brave enough to submit a cell phone image. Still 3 star. Is anyone out there? 8 silver. An interesting perspective and well done for trying it. The model is however overwhelmed by the circular light with not enough light falling on the eyes and too much under the chin. The tip of the nose being less well lit attracts the eye and detracts from the image. Try it again with adjustment of the lighting and you could have a winner. Okay, turning the page. Still on 3 star, Carl, 9 silver. What a happy guy. Lighting on men is often better. Oh, sorry. Finger slip. What a happy guy. Lighting on men is often better if a little harsher to bring out their wrinkles and imperfections. Not sure why that is a good thing. Question mark. The background is distracting and the 2 highlights on top of his head make it appear he just retracted his antenna. Okay, calm down. back. Face-on portraits can be difficult to do, and a better result is often obtained with the subject's head angled a little away from center. Sorry, going down now. My better half, 10 gold, Mana Rolofsa. Lighting is again too flat, but your creativity and better background have helped towards a better score. Cropping the left-hand side to just beyond the ear and trimming the bottom would lift the image further. Posing for you, 8 silver. The subject cries out for better lighting and a less direct posture. Rather than having your subject almost face on, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Many of the best photographs and photographers adopt that pose. Direct him to rotate his head a little to one side to give you more resultant shadows. Alternatively, move your light rearwards. Too much of his, albeit lovely, shirt is showing, and cropping here is recommended. Red-handed, 6 bronze. The title says it all. We see red hands but nothing of the subject. Sorry to score it so low, but it fails as a portrait. Still in 3-star, Vida, 14 merit, Cornelia Appel. Your light is placed enough off to the side to give you soft shadows and a lovely soft light overall. This is how it should be done. Werner, 10 gold, Denise Harvey. You squeaked your gold, but the posture of your model is good, as is the lighting and dark background. A darker shirt on the model would be preferable, so look at reducing its luminance, sorry. Cropping from the left, right, top and below to the level of the lowest elbow would enhance the image. Right, we're on to 4-star. A little angel, 9 silver. There are many good things about this image: focus, lighting, direction of gaze, etc. But what detracts is your high viewpoint rather than being on the same level as your subject. The subject's eyes are too low in the frame and are more important in the top of her head. Cropping to portrait, that is vertical format, cutting some of her hair out of the image, would lift her eyes in the frame and also help to lessen the shadow behind her. Beautiful Bertha, 12 gold, Heidi Taylor. Oh, so close to merit, the bright background just let you down. This is a wonderful portrait of a singer expressing her emotions. The dynamic range captured is good, but the highlights could be brought down a bit. Your framing is near perfect. Well done. Bluffing or not, 11 gold, Tracy Rhodes. Your lighting and processing are good in that you managed to separate the dark shirt from the dark background. Your subject hands, however, are too bright. If you meant to do that to highlight the activity, fair enough, but your subject's expression adds way more to the image than the activity he is engaged in. Consider cropping from the side, as there is too much non-contributory space. Still on 4-star, Chris, 8 silver. Your subject's eyes are not sharp, probably because of the very slow shutter speed used. You have done more by opening the aperture to its maximum. You could have done more. If there was any noise, you handled it very well, so consider next time even increasing the ISO. First prize, though, is better lighting. The pose and expression of your subject is good, as is the lighting angle, softness and framing, but the lack of sharpness loses you several points. Daydreaming, 10 gold, Tracy Rhodes. A good use of light, but the brightness of his shirt contrasts too highly with the nuanced face. Cropping to a more vertical format, sides, top and bottom, would improve the image greatly. Still in 4-star, Fisherman, 9 silver. The light is harsh, which highlights the shadows, an oxymoron, question mark, but makes them too dark, hiding the eyes. The result is an image that is not adequately showing the emotion the subject is expressing. Sip of water. Flower Child, 11 gold, Heidi Taylor. A great idea with colors that bring out the eye color, but the lighting is too harsh for the delicacy of the image. A superior crop to lift the eyes in the frame would benefit your image, but overall, well done. Still on 4-star, Happy Grand, 12 gold, Tracy Rhodes. What a delightful subject, full of emotion. The lighting does highlight your wrinkles, but if that is what you were after, well done. Your subject, however, may appreciate softer lighting, which is more flattering, but is your choice as the photographer. What cost you merit is inadequate cropping, as too much dead space has been left. A real pity. North American Indigenous Dancer, 9 silver. A really interesting subject in the midst of his dance. Your subject is very well framed, but a few aspects let you down. A, I don't know if the payment is sloping, but the off level is distracting. B, the dance involves movement, but the motion blurred objects are too numerous. A higher ISO and faster shutter speed would have eliminated some. C, the hose pipe lower left doesn't help, nor does the structure above your subject's head. North American Indigenous Dancer, 11 gold, Terry Byrne. Possibly because it is exotic to us, your subject holds a lot of interest. You captured the eyes well in the available light. I'm not penalizing you for it, but your eyes are not perfectly sharp. Motion blur question mark. The object lower left is in the image, leaving one to question what it is. It would be preferable if it was not there. Brandon in colour, 11 gold, Bertie Price. Good framing, lighting and focus. You could either adjust the levels to highlight the Rembrandt lighting achieved. An increase in the luminance of the right eye together with an adjustment of levels overall would have scored you a merit. Deep in Thought, 5 bronze. Oh dear. Out of focus motion blur by a 5-star. 0.4 seconds is too slow for a human portrait, no matter your lens length. If you meant it to be OOF, it doesn't work. Olga Kolokov's images are all OOF, but she combines it with ICM and intentional camera movement and other creative actions to provide interesting images. Have a look at that. Dion, 10 gold, Bertie Price. Close to Rembrandt lighting, but not quite. Cropping top and bottom would lessen the effect of your subject appearing stretched. Graceful Graham, 13 merit, Rob Hart. A lovely image, one for the wall. Do consider softer, more flattering highlighting next time, but overall, well done. Sorry, that's my phone. I forgot to put it on silent. Okay, so that was Craig Brickhouse phoning me. Thank you, Craig. So yes, well done, Rob Hart. Next one, Graham, 10 gold, Bertie Price. Good lighting, but I feel the image would be improved if the subject was not face on, as it may just add some interest. The background would benefit from some darkening. Oh, sorry, getting rid of my arrow. Where am I now? We're on 5-star now, by the way. Sorry. Relaxation time, 7 silver. I suppose one has to do the best with what you have. If your light source was stronger and a 6-second shutter speed was not required, you would have no motion blur and the image would score highly. Everything else is really good, and I give this low score reluctantly. Training for comrades, not scored. Although a person performing some sort of activity could be considered an environmental portrait, this image is better suited to the sports category and should be submitted there. Twinkle Eyes, 13 merit, Rob Hart. This is what I was hoping for with this model. Well done. Good lighting, cropping off camera fixation and focus where it should be. The washed out patch on top of his head is unfortunate. Darkening the background would also be of benefit. So junior image of the month. Let me just go to, where is it now? I highlighted it. Okay. Vida by Cornet. Well done. Is it Cornet? Oh, I've highlighted it. There it is. Yes, Cornet Apple. Well done. Senior image of the month. Technical. Rob Hart. Graceful Graham. Well done, Rob. Thank you so much. I'm going to change the white background to black now. So everybody, it's now the monthly competition, and I'm just going to get those results in front of me. and the phone is off. Okay, so let's go. Wait, let me do this. F9, enter. There we go. Oh, and it's still white. Wait, I will try again. Yay, it's black. Yay. Okay, gonna go again. Okay, so monthly, the monthly judge was, it's good, no, now we're gonna go there we go. Monthly judge was Leon Hayes, thank you very much. And afterwards he's also given us some before and afters. Thank you so much, Leon. Okay, 1 star, in full bloom, 10 gold, Jan Lenz. We are in the open category. For 1 star worker, this is a good attempt. The rose is in focus and there is nothing truncated. As you go along, your composition will improve and get more creative. As we see it here, it's a pretty picture of a spotty red-white rose that is very two-dimensional. Now try and getting images from different angles to bring out more of its beauty. Portraiture, 1 star, waiting for lunch, 10 gold, Jan Lenz. Theoretically, this is a portrait, although most people would not agree. A portrait can be any part of a body, human or not. Here we have that situation, but it has a very wide vista, and that, I feel, makes it more like an open image than a portrait. You have captured this quite well, with your focus being correct, but the image is a bit contrasty, which has left the blacks clogged. That can all be fixed in post. Reducing the contrast will also bring back the oversaturated colors a bit. Wildlife, 1 star, still wet, 14 merit, Jan Lenz. Goodness, the clarity on this image is astounding, as well as a lot of other factors. Firstly, the subject matter is gorgeous. The composition is 100% spot on and the colors are beautiful. I also appreciate the reflection in the water. This is exceptionally high standard for a 1 star worker. Well done. Just be aware that if this was in a salon and was earmarked for an award, it would not be allocated because the EXF data has been removed. So I know Jan does this in Lightroom. You've got to be careful when you're exporting stuff from Lightroom. You have to go and tick the box, keep all the EXF data. It's somewhere there. But that's a very good tip from Leon. 3 star, nature, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, 11 gold, Denise Harvey. Fairly nicely managed image. The whites are bright, but there's still texture visible, which is a bonus. Pity you weren't a bit lower down at eye level, but I know that is difficult. Consider cropping a bit more creatively to move the bird's face off the center position. Still nature, long-crested eagle on a stick, Nahan Silver. Leaving space for a staring animal to look into is usually a good idea. Yeah, you did that, but maybe space a little too inflated. This is made worse by the fact that the background is very busy. This is a large expanse of nothingness. Consider cropping the right, but not too much as to alter the story too drastically. And to open, 3 star, a little girl and little flower, Nahan Silver. This is a very sweet image that tells a great story. Almost everything about the image is great, and you have done well to get the exposure correct while being in strong competition with that bright sky. Unfortunately, that sky dominates completely. It is very bright. I've tried cropping it a bit, but that spoils the image. If you drop the highlights considerably, it does go a long way in balancing the light in the image. This style of portrait photography is very commercial nowadays, and you have broken the rules. Great! 2 exclamation marks. But unfortunately not 100% successful. Open, 3 star, cars in the park, Nahan Silver. I can see why you took this image and could have done and would have done so too. It's all about that sky. This type of contre-jour photography is not easy to get right. Here you have missed the mark slightly. The car and the people are not quite silhouetted or bright enough. Maybe you would have done better to do a stacked image with 2 or 3 layers of different exposures to maximize the best of all worlds. There is potential here to make this a great image. Open, 3 star, close-up starfish, 12 gold, Cornelia Appel. What a great idea for an image. It's been really successful, but there are elements that I would suggest doing to the image. The background is neither here nor there. I suggest darkening it to near black. The blue aquarium lighting is visible in the image, so I would suggest dropping the blue and cyan by selective coloring, image stroke adjustment stroke selective color, that's in Photoshop. Also by adding a tiny dark grey stroke border to add value and define the edges of the image better. Open 3-star Cobra 13 Merit Melanie Nike. Well, this is a wow image. This is how it's done. I'm 99.9% sure that this is a composite image, but that is cool because this is in the open category. Just be careful when doing this that you make it appear authentic. The car's left, front and back right wheels don't have shadows, so it looks a little bit like it is floating, but it is still a great image. Open 3-star Discarded Rose 12 Gold Joan Lindiger. Beautifully soft and delicate. The title Discarded Rose seems quite cruel. I don't see it as discarded at all. Your composition is beautiful and I agree with you in respect of the high key effect. Another reason it doesn't look discarded. Be careful that the whites don't get blown out so they can be darkened slightly. The overall blue cold tone could do with some warming up, and I think it all comes to life that way. This is in the befores and afters, which I'll show just now. Right, still in 3-star, Sunset Business, 10 Gold, Joan Lindiger. You have such beautiful colors and tones here, and the story is strong. To make it even stronger, I suggest a completely different crop, so as to maximize the feeling of solitude and also darkening of the whole image to strengthen the colors a little. If the shadows go too dark, then use shadows and highlights to lift those slightly. Washed Ashore 9 Silver. Nice abstract image with interesting shapes, colors and textures. Unfortunately, the story is a bit vague. By including some of the environment, the story would be stronger. Okay, this is now in Scapes category, 3-star River Lace 9 Silver. This image is very busy and I think it was probably a good idea to convert it to mono. Having color to deal with as well would have possibly been an overload on the senses. The waterfall is beautiful and you have captured it well, but there is a lot of other elements that clutter the image. Ideally, one strong foreground element would have been ideal, but as we know, that's not always possible. Scapes 3-star, Sunrise and Kuriman 8 Silver. Gosh, you have sure captured the true essence of the part of the world where there is miles and miles of nothing. I like the idea, but in my mind it hasn't quite worked. The sun is excessively bright, and that was always going to be a problem. The landscape is very stark and could have done with one strong, recognizable foreground element. Wildlife 3-star, Are My Ears Straight 9 Silver. This is also a great image mostly, and I do feel that the central placement works because the subject is so symmetrical. I feel the colors are a bit lackluster and could be strengthened a tad. In a salon, the vignette applied here will not do you any favors and might make a possible acceptance into a non-acceptance. In nature and wildlife, vignettes are frowned upon, and the image might even be DQ'd because the truth has been tampered with. Be careful of this. In this instance, it is very subtle, but still evident. Wildlife 3, Feral Courses of Corpse Whip, DQ. This is an open category image and not nature or wildlife. You've just done far too much to it and changed the truth of the image and therefore cannot be in nature and wildlife. It's been DQ'd and you could therefore enter it into open in another month. Yes. Still in wildlife, 3-star Giant Kingfisher 7 Silver. Excerpt from the PSSA Nature Wildlife Rules. Human elements may not be present except on the rare occasion where those human elements enhance the nature story. As we can clearly see, the bridge is very strong on the story and it still doesn't enhance the wildlife story. It is such a pity because it's a great image, but the human element is just too strong. Sorry. Okay, so our club has nature and wildlife separate. If you have a man-made image like this wall, you must put this into nature. Okay, you cannot put this into wildlife. However, Leon has done a before and after for this, and then you'll see how he crops the bottom out and it looks superb. Wildlife 3, I See You 10 Gold, Denise Harvey. Nice to see this animal within its environment. The mono work is okay here because there's a lot of elements that might have competed with each other. if it were in colour. I especially like the grass in the foreground, but it is a bit over bright. I played and toned all the highlights down a bit, and it definitely adds value. So also, Denise, I think you now 4-star. Okay, but this was entered in August when you weren't promoted yet, so it's still the old star ratings. Right. Wildlife 3-star on Pride Rock, 13 merit, Mana Rulifsa. Beautiful capture. The light is quite low, but the image has not been presented too dark. By lightening the image slightly, you've brought out the best points in the image and all the details crisp and sharp. Just be careful of the digital noise in the background, maybe a result of lightening the image. Well done on a great image. We're now on to Nature, 4-star, Aloe Piglere. Hey, these people. 8 silver. Only a botanist would give us the full botanical name. I guess a botanist would enjoy the images as shows the leaves and the flowers nicely. For a photographic competition, it has its problems. The background is extremely overpowering, which takes away from the beauty of the flower. The light is also very bright in places. Still in Nature, 4-star. And the last thing I saw was 9 silver. Good to be able to see the eye-to-eye contact with the two species. This is always a good idea. Pity the bird was not turned a bit more side-on. Leon, how can you say that? The light is very flat with little or no molding. I also feel the crop is wrong. This image should be presented in a landscape format with a bit more space around the subject. Great subject matter, but needs work on the execution and presentation. Okay. Still in Nature, 4-star. Swart Witbens Resting. 9 silver. Great to see a sighting like this. Unfortunately, a photographic competition is not judged on rarity of an animal species or the difficulty in acquiring the image. They do not add any value to the final result. The competition is all about the skill of mastering good photography. This image is a good record shot of the buck, but lacks a little in creative skill. Most of the dark areas are clogged and the foreground grasses are distraction. The whole image is also very stark. We're now on to Open, 4-star, Old Door, 11 gold, Heidi Taylor. Beautiful colors and textures. The subject again is a bit out of context, but there are so many strong elements in this image that you have redeemed yourself. The strong lines and soft curve juxtapose beautifully. In this image, the verticals are not straight. Be careful with an image like this to get them 100% right or very skewed. Being slightly off just bothers the eyes a bit. Open, 4-star, Stonehenge, 12 gold, Terry Byrne. Look who's been travelling. A very difficult subject to photograph. Well, because how do you show the scale? I would suggest having at least one person visible to indicate scale would go a long way to completing the story. Yes, there are birds, but they are just not quite enough. I still don't quite understand how big Stonehenge is. The light is mostly soft and complementary to the image because more harsh shadows would have spoilt the shapes. You've done well to avoid most of the existing shadows. The whole image has a slightly yellow color cast that can easily be corrected in post. Open, 4-star, White Dahlia, 12 gold, Heidi Taylor. Beautiful dahlia, and I love the touches of pink that are coming through. Your composition is spot on, but there are 2 things to mention. The center of the flower can do with a tiny bit more light, and the dark grey bits on the background, in my mind, spoil the image somewhat. With some creative editing, this could be a winning image. Be careful also to clone out dust spots on the flower. This is an open image, so all those things you can do. Okay. We're now on to Scapes category, 4-star. Narrowboats on the Thames, 9 silver. A nice holiday snap of the scene, and I think that the strong lead in line is great. The 2 swans in the foreground really add to the image and make it a lot more interesting. I feel this image is not too much a scape scene, but rather a snap about the boats on the river. The scapes element is not strong enough. 4-star towards Harmville, 11 gold, Heidi Taylor. Beautiful scene. Such a bonus to have the beautiful sky too. I especially like the horizontal layers. As your eyes move through the image, they are ever more engaging. I feel that the immediate foreground is a bit dark and can easily be brightened up to reveal the beautiful light and give the image more oomph in uppercase. Now on to 5-star, action and sport, Brett, 13 merit, Bertie Price. Fantastic action and panning, great composition too. At ISO 800, a little of the grain is visible. Be careful of the whites, they are bordering on being bright, over bright. This is a common problem when panning, still a great image. Doozy Dash, 12 gold, Bertie Price. Very good image. The action is very evident and nicely in focus. The water is nicely depicted and the facial expressions are great. The blacks are a bit clogged and the saturation a bit excessive. Reducing the contrast sorts out both those problems. Still in action and sport, 5-star race car 27, 13 merit, Bertie Price. Here the panning has been exceptionally well handled. The low ISO of 100 means that the whites are more controlled without any other compromises. Maybe a bit more space on the left would be good, as well as a little less on the bottom. Action and sport, 5-star, up in the air, 14 merit, Des van Tonder. Me, myself and my shadow. The image tells such a strong story. This chappie looks like he's all alone in the world except for his shadow. There are many great aspects to this image, but the best two are the fact that he is airborne and also the expression on his face. Very appealing. The creative composition is also wonderful. Okay, we're now on to nature. Still on 5-star. Blue Scope Biocontrol. Wow. 10 gold, Rob Hart. It's always very difficult to get enough sharpness in macro photography because of the extreme shallow depth of fields. Here you have managed reasonably well. The lizard is mostly in focus where it needs to be. Pity that the prey item is not quite sharp, and considering that the story here is about predator and prey, it would have been nice to see more of the prey in focus. I know that this is easier said than done. Good attempt. Still nature, 5-star, Raven and Bone, 13 merit, Des van Tonder. The clarity on this image is its strength. I know that this bone was fed to the birds to lure them in, but what the author has done here very cleverly is to make sure that there's no trace of any human involvement. If the bone was visibly cut, then it would be a giveaway. Here it looks completely natural. I would have toned the brightness down very slightly. Nature, 5-star, the snack that croaked, 13 merit, Ronald van den Heever. Wow, subject matter, and that really helps to tell the story. Two little things that warrant mentioning. The crop on both sides could have been a bit tighter, so as to emphasize that upward stance and the sense of the presentation of the prize gift. The white blobs in the background could have toned down slightly as they are a bit bright. All these things are completely permissible in nature. This is an open category, 5-star, Cape Vulture in black and white, 8 silver. This has been a valiant attempt to produce a high contrast image. Sadly, some things have gone wrong. There are bits of the vulture that are missing, e.g. the tip of his beak and some of the feathers around the neck. The light areas are also verging on being blown out and could do with some toning down. Nice idea, but needs refining. Open, 5-star, crested barbet perched, 9 silver. Very sweet and comical little chap. In essence, there's nothing really wrong with this image except for some creativity. Yes, he's a little perched bird, but we need to see more to make this into a wow image. If you could have, adding more to the story would have been beneficial. Right, open, 5-star, fence in the snow, 11 gold, Stephen Pryke. Very strong and powerful abstract type of image. Snow is a nightmare to photograph and you have done well to still retain some texture. This is probably due to your EV of -1. Good thinking. As an abstract image, it works well, but to add to the story, having an animal or person trapped on one side and not being able to get through would have added value. Open, 5-star, House versus College, 12 gold, Des van Tonder. I think that we all know that sport is one of the most difficult genres to get right. There are usually so many variables that play a part, and if there is no unison with these elements, it can be a disaster. Yeah, you have captured the true essence of the game and what was happening in front of you. The facial expressions are great. The action is undeniable, and they are not truncated. There are no truncated limbs. Coupled with this is great focus, good light, and strong color. The only little problem is the busy background. You don't need to tell me, I'm fully aware of the difficulties here. Most times it cannot be helped, so one has to make the best of a bad situation. If the background could have been more out of focus, that would have been first prize, but you have done well. I actually did blur the background quite a bit, that's why I put it into open. But yeah, it's those backgrounds. Right, so open, 5-star, the mist rolls in, 12 gold, Stephen Pryke. This is a great peaceful scene. The eyes drawn into the image and down the beautiful valley, even though there is a tree right in the way. Usually an object blocking your eye's journey through an image is not a good idea, but here it seems to be okay. There are some strange green colors in the mist, and I think this is where you might have tried to pull the brightness back a bit, and the colors have distorted. This image works beautifully in mono, and those clouds become like cotton wool, and you don't have that color cast. Still an open, 5-star, I'm gaining after heavy rains, 13 merit, Maxi Holder. Water always brings an element of calmness, and soft running water does even more so. This image is very easy on the eyes, and it's something I could see on a wall in a busy office. You've done well with the blurring milky water technique, and you have still retained enough detail to keep the interest. I feel that only the one rock does not tell a very strong story, and would have been nice to see a collection of rocks. Be careful of over bright highlights. Five-star open, Weimaraner at play. Is it Weimaraner or Weimaraner? I'm sure she will let me know. 13 merit, Ronald van den Heefer. Beautiful portrait of this dog, and you can see mischief written all over the face. You have done well to include the stick as an element to strengthen the story. The light is great, and the focus in both the eyes and on top of the nose. Well done. Just getting a little bit lower down to dog level would have been great. Now in portraiture, 5-star, Rosie Ribbons Hibbs, 14 merit, Maxi Holder. This is a beautiful portrait. The high key effect suits the subject matter so well. The work you have done to just isolate the face is great and is appropriate for this portrait. I just feel you could have been a bit lower to be at eye level, otherwise in that, it's a great image. Wildlife, 5-star, hyena portrait with ticks and smell. 12 gold, Maxi Holder. These are such quirky characters, and you have captured that in this portrait. It has a naughty glint in the eye, and just that look alone helps to tell the story successfully. Love them or hate them, they are such good photographic subjects because they want to engage with the photographer and probably want to eat the camera. Or the person, the photographer. Still on wildlife, 5-star, spider with prey, 13 merit, Rob Hart. These spiders are tiny, and to capture it with its prey is amazing. The full story is very clear, and the f11 aperture has ensured that as much as possible is in focus. Be careful of the bright light spots. This could be averted by using less flash and more natural light, if it was possible. Wildlife, 5-star, striking fig tree blue, 12 gold, Rob Hart. The detail on this butterfly moth is amazing, and the depth of field has been very well handled. The natural light must have been very strong because there is little or no evidence of the flash being used, although it was used. Pity that the butterfly is facing away from the camera, and also pity that the tip of the wing is truncated at the bottom. Junior image of the month, Jan Lens, still wet. Well done, Jan. And I'm paging too, so I get it right. Senior image of the month, Rosie Ribbons Hibbs. Well done, Maxi. Your canvases are coming this afternoon, Wednesday, and so I'll contact both of you and get your canvases to you. Thank you, Bespoke Canvas, for the sponsorship. So I'm just going to go through some befores and afters from Leon. Thank you so much, Leon. So this one here, dark and bright sky. He did mention this was before and after. Okay, I know this is here. So he mentioned this as a contre-jour image. Light and foreground detail, but kept sky about the same, toned down saturation slightly. There was the before, and this is the after. This was the starfish. Made background more black, added a thin stroke border, removed blue color cast. Okay. This is the discarded rose that Leon didn't like the caption. Dulled the white slightly, removed some of the blue cast and added warmth. Gosh, I think that looks really lovely now. Yeah. Okay, and he said something about composition here. A completely different crop, darkening slightly to intensify the colors. And he just added here using that thing in Photoshop, and I've gone completely and utterly blank. Content aware. Okay, and this one here. So if you put this in nature, it would have been fine, but because it was entered in wildlife, he cropped away the human element, and oh, it's still really, really sharp. It's a super image. The buffalo, and then just darken foreground grasses. Okay, so this was just the cropping. So if you completely different crop, and of course, if you only had that image, to add this, the content aware, you would then have to put this image into open, which is completely acceptable. This wasn't open, so he removed the dark grey background bits that were showing through, lightened the center, and removed dirt on the flower. Just this little piece of dirt here. Okay. Something about the foreground here. There we go. Lightened this foreground area. So it's really, really beautiful how this light comes through here now. And this one cropped a bit off and added space on the left. And of course, if you're going to do that, you'll have to put this in open. Crop slightly on left and right. And this one I think is converted to mono. Very beautiful mono. Toned down bright water, before, after. And that's it. Thank you, Leon, for those befores and afters. So this is, wait. So on the 20th of July, that's why I couldn't make the meeting, myself and Leon and Derek went to Giant's Castle Vulture Hide. I wish I could say just go and have some fun. It's quite expensive, 1,250 Rand. It takes a while to get there. You've got to leave really early in the morning, and you need a 4x4, like a major 4x4, not a high clearance vehicle. And if you're precious about your car, don't take your car. Okay, Derek, thank you so much for taking us. And that even scraped, and the roads there and the roads are so bad with potholes, but it really is worth going. So Jake sent me this from his time, him and Maxi. They were September 2018 at Giant's Castle. Oh, sorry, I'm going to do this now. People ask, why do you keep going back? Jake and Maxi, why do you keep going back? So morning at the Vulture Hide by Jake and Maxi. Real stars of the show, the lammergees or bearded vultures, and you're so lucky to get a photo like this. I'll show you, ours were just, they barely came past. And apparently when no one's there, they land. Yes. They're also watching you. This one is a juvenile. Note the dark head. Like all kids, they have their squabbles. Those are fantastic. But they soon get over it. The Cape vulture is another big bird, but it is not only found in the mountains. Like almost all vultures, the species is declining. We saw one like way in the distance, we think. The jackal buzzard is a beautiful visitor. Yep, we were lucky enough to see him. Her. The yellow-billed kite comes looking for a bite. Look at those backgrounds though, aren't they just beautiful? But is buzzed by a rock kestrel. Somewhat ruffled, it dives down. Only to face a crow problem. The crows, actually white-necked ravens, think they own the place. Yes, they do. And behave accordingly. Yes, they do. But again, look at the backgrounds. Aren't they just beautiful? Who is to stop them? The familiar chat commonly eats grasshoppers, but is not without ambition. Yes. A group of red-winged starlings are scared by a jackal buzzard. One takes the plunge off the cliff. Over the cliff, sorry. But then a howling wind came up. The crows loved it and put a wonderful display of aerial skills. They really are fascinating because if they're just flying a little bit, they've got their legs out and they kind of cruise with their legs out. It just looks so weird. Vultures just tucked in their wings and left. And so did we. Thanks for that, Jake. Okay, so these are just some of the images when myself and Leon and Derek went to Giant's Castle in July. I'm just going to go through some of them. And you'll notice that there should be no noise in the background now. Sorry, my inverter was happily charging from the load shedding, so hopefully it's a little bit quieter now. This was the jackal buzzard. We were also lucky enough to see one of those. And it keeps on going to a different photo. I'm not quite sure why. So this jackal buzzard getting a bit flustered. It's the ravens that were there. It just completely took over. The starlings, lots of opportunity to do starlings. Beautiful backgrounds. It's a female thick-billed weaver, I think. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. These ravens just coming in, their landing gear. This was the Lamachai. My settings were completely wrong. You see it was very dark underneath, and if I try and lighten, there's too much noise, and it's not quite sharp. And we had all the bones and the pigs' heads and everything so beautifully placed by Derek. In the end, quite a few went over the edge as these ravens just rolled them down. It was so annoying. These were their landing gear out. And we were so lucky we had a baboon visit. And he looked long and hard at these bones and then decided to just leave it alone. And there we go. That's it. So just to run through again the Interclub results. That was our congress down in Durban, run by Westville Camera Club, and there were some lovely workshops. Just to go through them again: bronze medal patterns, nature and open. Hibiscus just ruled. So the patterns, hibiscus came first, and we came 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. We were 6th for our patterns. For open, we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. And then for nature and wildlife, we were tied third with Hillcrest, which was a very nice result. And then overall, we were down here, tied with Durban Camera Club. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now show the slideshow for the nature images. And the images are all the top images that scored 35 and above. So we go. There's a bit of music. I don't know if you can hear it. But they don't have names or anything coming up, unfortunately. But when there's a Maestro Camera Club one, I'll try and recognise it and shout, yay! Really are some very beautiful images here. I love this image because it is, even though it's busy in the background, it's beautiful colours. That's a contre-jour image. Well, rib lighting actually. Yeah. Just beautiful. Sharpness of some of these images is amazing. Bird. So now days. Liesel. Maxis. That's Rob's other one. Love that. Wow, that's gorgeous.